Madam Chair, I appreciate you holding this very important hearing. This committee, Mr. Merbani, has jurisdiction over the Hatch Act, which I know you know, and that ensures that the federal government is run in a nonpartisan manner. Specifically, the Hatch Act prohibits executive branch employees from using their, quote, official authority or influence for the purpose of interfering with or affecting the results of an election. Mr. Merbani, why is it important that executive branch officials keep political campaigning separate from official agency business?
Official agency and government business is meant to support the public interest and implement government programs. If government officials were allowed to use their perch on behalf of a partisan political candidate, that could unfairly provide them an advantage, and it could distort our political process. And moreover, it's not the appropriate use of government resources. That's not what you as Congress have authorized federal branch agencies to do.
Seems very straightforward and simple. Thank you. Ms. Hempowitz, during the Trump administration, saw gross abuse of the Hatch Act. Kellyanne Conway, for example, committed such egregious violations of the Hatch Act that the Office of Special Counsel recommended that President Trump remove her from federal service. We know, however, that he refused to hold her or other senior officials who violated the Hatch Act accountable. Should political appointees be exempt from punishment from Hatch Act violations?
Thank you for the question, Congresswoman. Absolutely not. I think it sends exactly the wrong signal to the American people to hold civil servants to a higher standard than we hold political appointees to.
And would it be helpful to strengthen the Hatch Act by clarifying that it applies to senior political officials, including those in the White House, and not just serve?
Absolutely. It's my belief that the law does already cover them, but we have seen that the Office of Special Counsel has taken a more narrow reading. And so I think for that reason alone, it is absolutely critical to clarify that in the law.
Ms. Hempowitz, during the committee's oversight of the Hatch Act implementation during the last administration, it came to light that the Office of Special Counsel doesn't have a consistent policy for when to publicly release findings of Hatch Act violations. Now, this could lead to inequitable treatment of career employees compared to political employees. Should the Special Counsel adopt a transparent policy for when to publicly release findings of the Hatch Act violations? And would it help if Congress mandated that the agency adopt a consistent policy for disclosing violations?
Absolutely. I think it would help very much.
The Hatch Act is intended to protect our democracy and ensure that government officials don't abuse their power or resources of their position for partisan purposes, or to advocate, as you both mentioned, for an outcome in an election. I'm not really worried about this administration, but it is critical that the law is clarified so those who plan to abuse their power from finding any loopholes. I just think it's important to remember that not only did we see Ms. Conway's repeated gross violations, but we actually had the Secretary of State give a speech to the Republican National Convention while he was on official business overseas. They held Republican National Committee events on the South Lawn of the White House. We just have to make sure that these abuses of power, which in previous administrations only occasionally took place and certainly weren't as flagrant as the Trump administrations, the American people do have the right to expect government activity and political activity is separate. We have that standard that we're supposed to abide by, and we punish members of Congress when they do not. And we need to make sure that throughout the executive branch, that occurs as well. Madam Chair, thank you for the opportunity to highlight these important transparency and important government integrity issues. I yield back.
Gentlelady yields back. The gentleman from New Mexico, Ms. Harrell, the gentlelady is recognized for 5 minutes. Ms. Harrell.